So let's talk for a few minutes about fertilizer. Hi, I'm Paul Krugman. Fertilizer is not usually one of my things, but it's important in what's happening right now, and it's also part of trying to understand just how big a mess we are in as a result of this unplanned, ill-conceived war. Um, so it's Saturday. It's 3 weeks and one day since the bombing began. Donald Trump is now, the story keeps changing. We're either going to apply force and devastate Iran, or our job is done and it's up to other countries to reopen the Strait of Hormuz because we don't rely on it, says the president. Which is, first of all, turns out not to be true. The United States does not import significant amounts of crude oil coming through the Strait of Hormuz, but we do import fertilizer, which I wasn't aware of. Lots of things that are coming to light now that we're facing the crisis. And the reason we are getting fertilizer, mostly from Qatar, is that the fertilizer is made, urea and some other things are made from natural gas. Natural gas can be exported, is exported in large quantities from the Persian Gulf, or was until this war began. But that's expensive. You have to supercool it and liquefy it and ship it out through special terminals and special ships. And it can be done and has become really critical to a large part of the world. But the other thing you can do with the natural gas that's available in the Persian Gulf area is converted into fertilizer, which is a lot easier to ship. And so a lot of the world's fertilizer turns out to come from that area and normally get shipped through the strait. And the United States, we're a great agricultural nation, and we do import significant amounts of fertilizer. We import a large share of our fertilizer, and some of it from the Persian Gulf, a significant share of that. So this is having a direct impact on U.S. farmers. The price of urea is way, way up. And there's something that I've recently been alerted to, which is quite scary. The planting season is coming up, says somebody who has no idea what agricultural life is like, but that's what I'm told. And the farmers have long since contracted for their fertilizer. They already, they've already paid or at least signed the contracts. The prices are locked in. But will there actually be fertilizer available? It's not at all hard to imagine that the suppliers will declare force majeure, say, there's a war on, which is normally a valid excuse for backing out of contracts, and simply fail to supply the fertilizer. That would be a real catastrophe. By the way, there are other places where that's going to matter. The airlines quite often, airlines cancel flights all the time, and sometimes they declare force majeure and cancel flights and don't even compensate, although that I think is less of an issue right now. But jet fuel, the price of jet fuel has risen, at last I checked, 88% since the crisis began. Airlines, they're already talking about it, cutting back schedules, not about canceling. Well, it's not entirely clear. And for I'm as insulated as anybody can get from all of this, but Robin and I do have some travels planned starting in late April, and the mixture of pleasure and business, and some of it, we really need to be in certain places. It seems entirely possible that flights will be canceled. We may or may not receive compensation, which I don't really care about, but just not being able to get to the places that I have promised to be would be a really serious disruption. Now, this is trivial compared with farmers are facing potential financial ruin, but this is just an illustration of the disruptions. And of course, at a fundamental level, saying that because the United States doesn't buy its oil from the Persian Gulf, that therefore we are insulated. This doesn't matter to us. I mean, take a look at your gas station. gas prices are up about $1 a gallon since the war began. Wholesale gas prices are up about $1.20 a gallon, so this is going to get worse. Diesel is up even more. So this is, the fact that the United States actually produces more oil than it consumes is pretty much irrelevant. If you want to ask how does the U.S. economy get affected? Well, the economy is people, like Soylent Green. Anyway, the economy is people, and most people in the United States are significantly adversely affected by the spillover from this war. Now, oil companies, particularly oil refiners, who seem to be seeing a big explosion in their margins, they're doing well, but what good does that do the rest of us? It's not as if the U.S. has any fiscal measures in place to capture those gains. So this is, in fact, this is hitting the United States. It's hitting all of us quite hard, and it may be actually kind of catastrophic because plans to travel, never mind, but plans to plant crops may be seriously endangered by all of this. Has anybody told Trump about this? From everything we're reading, the answer is probably not. Basically, we're in a situation where the court hears don't tell the emperor that he has no clothes, and don't tell him that actually war in the Persian Gulf really hurts the United States a lot too. So God knows. And by the way, I have no idea how this ends. I don't even know what I would do at this point. I mean, I'd take a time machine and go back and not do this, but now it's going to be really, really ugly. And have a nice weekend.